How much does a record label matter anymore?
Wow, that's a great question.
Because that
Compare,
was always the goal, right? I mean, you always wanted to be picked up by the label, by the big machines of the world, and then they could do all of the work for you. But I don't know. What does it matter?
it's a great question. And Jelly Roll actually, to your point, does an incredible job of breaking down what it's called a 360 deal and how the labels sort of provide a bank to you as a resource and can get you all the, plugged into the right tours and the right marketing and distribution but effectively, what their goal is to recoup as much of that money that you're going to earn for them, sometimes like 70 cents on the dollar, 80 cents on the dollar, sometimes 100 cents on the dollar. And before you get a check, they're going to make sure that they're whole and then some. So what you're seeing now is this flywheel of these young artists that have gone viral on TikTok that have never played a show before. Some haven't even picked up a guitar. They'll sit, and try to figure out how to strum, but they're young, good looking, whatever the algorithm is telling them. And they're just set up to go get famous really fast and to go on these tours because in the heels of it, they're thinking if they were famous on TikTok, they're going to sell tickets in an arena. But a lot of times you're seeing these young kids just are not prepared to deliver a performance that's up to the standard and the caliber of a $50 ticket. So maybe they're set up to fail. So is a label as important as it used to be? It can be dramatically effective in the case of Jackson Dean, where you're ready for it. You truly are ready for the spotlight and for that moment and can capture it and do something with it. In the case of a lot of these kids on TikTok, maybe a label's not the right thing for them, where they should continue to develop their craft. And, not to go on a rant about that, but it's a great question. What I tell people all the time in this industry is you have to have a very clear definition of what your success looks like. For me, being where I am, if I can continue to stay in the game, to write songs, to play, the events that we choose to play, like yours and do weddings like that and have a great weekend with people that we really care about. That to me is the most important thing. 10 years ago, it was probably to go blow up and be on the festival stages and do that circuit. But, if you can look yourself in the mirror, if you have kids, I want to be home at night. That's my goal. If you can define very clearly what your version of success is in this industry, you can go chase it and achieve it without a label, without question.
Yeah. Um, Addressing the cars part of cars and culture, and you and I've talked about this a little bit. The automotive presence throughout music, and I chatted with Kathleen Edwards, Canadian singer songwriter, Ed Robertson of the Bare Naked Ladies. I mentioned Brett as well. What's your version of how the passion around automotive permeates through music and makes it is the soundtrack to the soundtracks that play in our car?
Yeah, you're right. It's kind of interesting because obviously being in country music, like the word truck has to be in every song that you write. Lose your Nashville card. Um, all kidding aside, what's cool for me and the connection, I knew we were going to talk about this, and it finally hit me. I can never say yes to a final version of a song that we are writing and producing until I hear it in my truck. A lot of times, it takes one or two cars to hear it in to just understand how it's going to be consumed by the end user. So I'll listen to it in my truck and then maybe Dustin's car to just get a sense of how does it sound, because that is the final litmus test for me. It never passes go until we listen to it in at least one, if not two different cars.
Hmm.
So
That's interesting.
from a culture perspective, I would imagine most artists do the same thing because they want to be alone, hand on the wheel, foot on the pedal, listening and consuming that as if the consumer's listening. So I don't know what percentage that nets out to, but I imagine it's very high that that's the final test for most artists is listening with their hand on the wheel.
You've opened for Cody Johnson last year, and one of his songs, "Come On Cowgirl," has lyrics about a young girl who's too young to drive.
Young to drive, that's right. Yep.
He also talks about in the song "Till You Can't" about the right place to park it. You know,
That's
it does permeate, doesn't it, Matt? It's everywhere. Car culture. It's symbolic of so many things that are America, frankly.
it's when done the right way, I think every songwriter is chasing three or four different types of songs. The one is the freedom song, and that's the big one. If you can nail the freedom song, Fast Cars and Freedom, Rascal Flatts, I mean, the
Yep.
list goes on. The freedom song is the one that gives you the most, it gives you the most, to use another metaphor, highway from a writer's perspective to write. I mean, when you're writing freedom songs, it's 8 lanes and it opens up like this. When you're writing breakup songs, it's more like this. When you're writing sort of the freedom song could be about anything, you know, fun night out, leaving town, you know, chasing a dream, it could be anything. But the visual there is always feet on the dash, playing on the radio, windows down, sun coming in, view of either the beach or the mountains or the sunset. That opens up everything. And you're always in a car. You are always in a car or a truck, 100% of the time.
You opened for Ashley McBride too. She was part of that Cody Johnson tour, and you know she's got song "Home Sweet Highway." You know she's got references to you know in her song "What If We Don't." This is the part we call it a night. You get in your car, I get into mine. I mean, it's all over the place, Matt.
It is, you know, and even in a song of hers that's my favorite called Girl Going Nowhere, you know, it's she weaves a lot of that in and out of the metaphors of like leaving town and physically not going anywhere with your life, but also, you know, not able to achieve a dream, which starts by setting out on the highway on four wheels. So
Yeah.
it's everywhere in the imagery of, especially in country music for sure.